that actually went back and defended. I think it's like.
Big up yourself for tuning back in. Appreciative to have you back on my YouTube channel. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Now let's get straight into what is concerning Arsenal Football Club today in terms of the news. Richard Garlick appointed managing director. We are pleased to announce our director of football operations, Richard Garlick, will take the role of Arsenal's managing director in the summer of 2024. Richard will step into the role when Chief Executive Officer Vinay leaves Arsenal following the announcement of his decision to step down last year. A respected leader and qualified lawyer, Richard held a number of high-profile roles in the industry before joining Arsenal in 2021 as Director of Football Operations, where he has executive responsibility for all football operations and administration across the club, including women's football and player care. Richard joined us from the Premier League, where he was director of football, after occupying a number of roles at West Bromwich Albion, where he was also appointed to the board of directors in December of 2010. Arsenal's co-chair Josh Kroenke on Richard has said, Richard is recognised and respected across the industry for his vast experience, and we were delighted when he joined us back in 2021 to take our football strategy to the next level. He has made an enormous impact since joining us, working closely with our sporting director Edu on development and implementation of the club's football strategy. He has developed strong relationships across the club and wider industry. Rich has been key to the progress we've made as a club, including recent transfers, and I'm thrilled he will now lead our executive team and continue to drive the club forward with passion. Richard himself said, since joining Arsenal in 2021, I've had the privilege to be involved with almost every aspect of this incredible club. I'm excited to take us forward in my new role as we move into the new phase of delivering the vision of the owners, Stan and Josh. I'd like to thank the board for the support they've given me and Eddie for his support as I pursued this opportunity. I'd also like to thank Vinay for his leadership and contribution to the club over the last 14 years. I look forward to continuing to work with them all as I transition into this new role and drive the club forward. And then obviously you can see the roles he's taken. Now, with that being said, I don't think it's surprising. We knew Vinay was leaving over a year ago. And, you know, this is probably why the stadium tours were kind of cancelled to announce this announcement. Naturally, he was probably going to step into that role. The club will probably find someone to fill his boots. And as it says here, if he's got a wealth of experience and a wide array of contacts in the Premier League, maybe, you know, you can talk to the fat cats that control FFP and find loopholes for that. And maybe we can exploit that for the better. And obviously, if he's a key part to what we're doing as a club, and as it says there, he's had a key role in transfers and almost every aspect, as we're still in this transitional period. I know that's kind of running out. It was always going to be the case that he stays. I do still believe Mikel Arteta will announce the club will announce a new contract for Mikel Arteta probably when the time's right, in my opinion. You know, the only thing that's probably missing is pictures. They've probably dotted I's and crossed T's. So yeah, big up Richard for that. Obviously, one love to Vinay for obviously what he's done for the club. David Ornstein, speaking on Sky Sports, has said on Arsenal, he said, excitement on Arsenal transfers probably need to be put on hold for a few months. In the summer, I do think Arsenal are going to attack the market again. We could see a striker come in. They'll really be looking at options like many clubs. And then he said people probably defensive cover as a reactive signing. Good chance of it not happening. Right to Arsenal is definitely going to happen. As we know, Ajax are looking to complete the contract renewal of their young player, Hato. Possible outs in the future. Again, speculation remains over Thomas Partey, Smith Rowe, Jorginho, and Nketiah. And probably, you know, you throw Aaron Ramsdale and other players into that, people. And that will continue, essentially. He also said there is a possibility of some defensive reinforcements that would be reactive. That would be a reactive move to things happening in the market. They're looking at players, but anything like that is in its infancy. They're close to the line on FFP. We're not just saying that. In the summer, I do think Arsenal are going to attack the market again. We could see a striker come in. The excitement around Arsenal transfers probably needs to be put on hold for a few months. Now, Mikel Arteta had said himself there would be a possibility that we didn't sign anyone. Again, the media make up things and no one actually knows what the club is saying. But when you see Ornstein and Romano and all the language coming out that the club would like to make signings, good possibility there'll be no signings. And it seems like the media, in my opinion, have been briefed on Arsenal's summer dealers, because every player that we hear we're linked with, it's a summer thing, it's a summer thing, it's a summer thing. And I hear that, you know, we need to be dotting I's and crossing T's on the players that will be incoming in the summer. It does feel like if we just juice up this squad a bit, Don't think a striker comes in. Don't think a winger comes in. Would love a central midfielder or two. Do think we need a versatile defender that could really boost our chances of our slim hopes of salvaging our season and ending it with silverware. Yes, we did win silverware in August, but the Champions League and the Premier League, which is probably a pipe dream, really and truly. But I'd love to be proven wrong. Now, Newcastle have probably, it's been a dead transfer window. Newcastle have probably been the club over the last week or so that's had anything close to excitement. You know, Kamara has been linked with Paris Saint-Germain. Is that this whole FFP and needing to sell players? Almiron could be going to the Middle East. 1 minute, Trippier is going to Bayern Munich and then he's not. How Bayern Munich are signing him and Dyer and expecting to, you know, get closer to Real Madrid and win Champions League. I don't know what Thomas Tuchel is on. Callum Wilson has been linked with a number of clubs. I wouldn't necessarily be against him on loan for a couple of months, people. Permanent. I think he's a good player, but I don't think it makes sense. You know, he's of the wrong age profile. He is Premier League proven, and he does carry a lot of injuries. But if Newcastle was somehow silly enough to allow us to load him, I think it could be a good option to tie us through until the summer. And then obviously you want to see an Ivan Toney, an Osimhen, a Vlahovic, a Sesko, a Boniface, whatever have you lot, people. For what it's worth, however, don't forget to smash the like button. Newcastle could sell Callum Wilson for just 18 million in the final week of the January transfer window, with Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United all alerted to his availability. The common theme with those three clubs is, unlike Spurs, they've all won stuff. Chelsea need a forward. You know, Broly's been priced out of a move to Wolves. It's well known that Arsenal would like to get a striker, and obviously the Benzema, the Ivan Tonys, the Osimhens, for one reason or another, doesn't look like it's going to happen. Manchester United, to give Højlund some support. They think he's a good player, but he's kind of struggled. They could go for an experienced man. As it says here, all three clubs want to sign a striker, and a proven Premier League goal scorer has now come onto the market. But then you have to ask, why are Newcastle selling him? Yeah, FFP might be one thing, but they ain't made any signings. Why are they looking to sell him? What is wrong with him? Newcastle need to raise money to ensure they stay in line with Premier League profit and sustainability rules after spending around 400 million since they were taken over by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund in 2021. Time has flown, isn't it, really? 3 odd years, basically. Wilson, who has scored 46 goals in 102 games for Newcastle, not the best of records, but not the worst, is a sellable asset, and his availability could prove an intriguing story in the final weeks of what has been a quiet January window. He has been linked with Atletico Madrid on loan. That seems like that got squashed. Apparently, Trippier is wanted by Bayern Munich, but Newcastle have rejected several bids from the German giants as they hold out for 20 odd million. Almiron has been offered to teams in Saudi Arabia, but is reluctant to move to the Middle East. And, you know, Newcastle could probably, you know, the Saudi investment fund, they own a couple of clubs and stuff, could probably just sell to each other like Football Manager when you've got you put two managers in one save. Wilson would provide a short-term solution for Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United, who have all been considering their options as they boost their firepower. Let me know, would you lot be keen on the 31-year-old? 18 to 20 million on a 31-year-old who, you know, as a record of getting injured? I'm not too sure that's the thing. But he's got 86 goals in 215 Premier League appearances. And, you know, one thing you could give Wilson, he'll put the ball in the back of the net, and he is experienced. Wilson has previously held talks with Atletico Madrid, but he does not want to risk moving abroad to back up Morata as he targets a place in the England squad for Euro 2024. AC Milan have also been linked with a move for the striker. I mean, really and truly, are you really going to get an England call-up? You know Harry Kane's going to go. I'm not sure for Sterling and Rashford with their form, but they could be going on the plane with Southgate, and they're considered as strikers, as Southgate says. So if you say that's 3 strikers in the big boy Harry Kane, Rashford, and Sterling's ability to play there, who is the next one, really? At this moment in time, it probably could be Watkins. Obviously, Ivan Toney, going to monitor what he's doing. Wilson has been in and around the England setup, really and truly. And at 31 years of age, I'm not one of them guys that starts waffling about age and all of them things, but if Newcastle had to sell an asset, they'd probably want to get rid of the 31-year-old Wilson, probably want to get rid of fringe players like Almiron and things of that ilk. You know, the Kamaras, is the Isaacs, maybe in the summer if this persists, but they'd be crazy to let them go at this moment in time. And they probably want to hold on to these players so that they can continue to qualify for the Champions League, etc., etc. Apparently, Wilson on his podcast said it's January, the window is open, and there's always speculation with players, not just regarding myself, but with everyone else in the squad as well. I haven't got much more to say on that. Apparently, Chelsea have made Broja available. You know, they're reluctant to sign Benzema due to his wage demands and probably the loan fee. He's also been linked with Arsenal, and they've also been linked with Aston Villa's Duran as well, people. Apparently, both Chelsea and Arsenal could wait until the summer to sign a top-class forward when Napoli's Victor Osimhen and Brentford's Ivan Toney are expected to become available. So we'll have to see in that regards, people. No clue on Arsenal signing Diamande in the summer. I mean, in January, summer's a different thing, but he is a player we wanted back to his days at Denmark. Allegedly, we've been handed a boost as Chelsea can't afford to sign Osimhen this winter window. Can we really and truly? I'm not sure. Allegedly, it says Arsenal made an offer of 35 million euros for the Ivorian, but Sporting were clear that they would not accept anything less than his 80 million release clause, especially because they've just signed him and he's someone that's wanted by a number of clubs, people. Liverpool were once linked with him as well, and they stand to make a very handsome profit on someone that they bought just 12 months ago, people. I'm not too sure. And that's Smith Rowe, who finally got some extended minutes at the weekend and was last week linked with West Ham. Allegedly, he said, people, it was tough, but we were in the title race, and I understand the manager isn't going to change the team if we're winning every game. I think this was once again at a period, he said. I just tried to stay positive and train as well as I could. The other players and Mikel Arteta were great with me, kept me feeling connected, but it was a tough, long season, I won't lie. Arsenal are my club. I'm not going to give up until Mikel Arteta says he doesn't want me, but that's not the case. He wants me as part of the team, and I want to fight for my place and get back in the team. We're all rooting for you, Smith Rowe. Boniface has been linked with West Ham. He's currently nursing an injury, people. The 23-year-old is going to be one of those strikers on the list for anybody looking at forwards. Leverkusen are looking to win the Bundesliga, I believe, for the first time in their history. Boniface is a key part of that. If you want him, you need to pay a lot of money. He's rated at around 50 million, and West Ham have been linked with him today, people. But again, he's going to still consistently be linked with Arsenal, people. Apparently, people, he averages 5 shots per 90. I mean, we'd all love a striker that looks to score goals. Romano has said Arsenal will not get a free run at Zubamendi. The reports in the last 48 hours suggest Zubamendi has indirectly agreed to join Arsenal in the summer. We all know he's got a £60 million release clause to depart his boyhood club, Real Sociedad. Apparently, Bayern Munich are also in the mix. He has been linked with Newcastle, Aston Villa, Bilbao, actually Manchester United, as well as Barca and Bayern and Arsenal as well, people. He said, in January, it is really complicated because of the cost of the deal, which is around 60 million euros, the value of the release clause for Zubamendi, but it's also complicated from a personal point of view for Zubamendi because he's a big Real Sociedad fan, not just a fantastic player. He wants to keep going with the club, especially with the big opportunity to play in the last round of 16 in the Champions League. Fair enough, really. He doesn't want to leave mid-season. We ain't got the money to complete this mid-season. Just from a business point of view, you know, 60-odd million euros for a player that is allegedly highly rated by Mikel Arteta seems like a no-brainer. But one would imagine, are Arsenal going to try and negotiate that fee lower, or are we going to give them 60 million, but in a makeup of a deal that is a bit more beneficial to us? If you activate his release clause, I'm no accountant, but I'm pretty sure you have to pay that all in full. As you saw with the summer we signed Partey, where we played a game of chicken, negotiating all summer. We risked having egg on our face, just activated the release clause and kept it moving. Once upon a time in the summer, he did say, I've never planned to leave Sociedad. I always say that I love life here at home. I'm so happy here. The value of this club are the same as mine. So I feel very good. I've always said that I'm happy. So we'll have to monitor that. Again, check out the video I did yesterday, people. We always probably expect Chelsea to win the race for Osimhen, but apparently Chelsea are working on a deal to sign up to Osimhen, while a move from Arsenal has been completely ruled out by a football agent. Not too sure. Osimhen did say this week, at the end of the season, I think I already made up my mind. I know what I want to do with my career since I started. I've been the one making my own decisions, and everything is working out well for me, even though when I started it didn't go as well as planned. But I already have my plan. I already know what I want to do, the next step I want to take. So for now, I just want to finish the season strong, go relax somewhere with my daughter, and then finally come up with the decision I've made. According to football agent Paulo Palermo, Chelsea already trying to engineer a deal, and apparently a move from Arsenal, meanwhile, has been ruled. Echo in Football Transfers exclusive reporting from December. What has he said, really and truly? I've said since he renewed that he was leaving. Extending the contract for just 1 year means having already sold him. Otherwise, they would renew it for 4 more years. They put the card on the player and also on the player's contract. I think someone has already joined. I think Chelsea, who can spend 120 to 130 million, I think those who can spend 120 to 130 million are Chelsea, Man City, Manchester United, Liverpool. I don't think Arsenal, Tottenham could also do it, but they have a salary cap of 67 million. Osimhen already earns 10 million. So again, I think we end up with Tony. I think they end up with Osimhen, but you just never know in this life. Such is life. they could get Tony, we could get Osimhen. Ezekiel Fernandez, rumours, the Boca Juniors central midfielder, 21 years of age, is allegedly still being linked with Arsenal and drawing interest from Brighton, as well as Benfica, Genoa and Sevilla. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. I don't think that's anything new. Allegedly, Barcelona, Chelsea and Arsenal lost the most money through player transfers in world football over the last decade. I guess this is why it's key to sell players at a profit. And obviously with big money, you know, we spent 50 odd million on Lacazette, deal got ripped up. Aubameyang deal got ripped up. Mesut Ozil deal got ripped up. Pepe deal got ripped up, and so on and so forth. People, I saw a report today saying Spurs are the richest club in London, so they must win the league. Then we need to get agendas going. Arsenal and Chelsea are in second and third respectively. Manchester United are fifth. Aston Villa seventh. Everton and Liverpool are eighth and ninth. People, so that's quite crazy. It just shows Premier League are getting more and more richer and probably being more and more, you know, don't have to be more prudent with their spending. Arsenal lost 436 million euros in brackets, 373 million pounds after signing players such as Pepe for 72 million before he left after 4 years on a free transfer to Trabzonspor. People, we've already mentioned Mr. Fernandez over there. We're still consistently being linked with Xavi Simons, people, and allegedly it's between Xavi Simons and Pedro Neto in relation to getting someone who can occupy a wide area. As Football Transfer says here, allegedly Arsenal are chasing RB Leipzig attacker Xavi Simons, but the on loan player from PSG at the Bundesliga side remains a backup option to Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto, who's aggressively been linked with us. I'm sure either player would be great. Once again, we're linked with, you know, Everton's Onana. Apparently, Sasha Tavaleri, forgive me for mispronunciation, once reported that talks were moving quite aggressively between Arsenal and Everton for this individual. There's also been some reports he's keen on the move, but crucially, it comes down to money, which is not available, people. Apparently, FFP is currently ruining the Gunners' chances of bringing Onana deal to a successful conclusion, but he's also said, but wait and see, because a last-minute sale to Arsenal, I think he means from Arsenal, could obviously change everything, whether that's Eddie Nketiah, Aaron Ramsdale, Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, so on and so forth. Maybe there's some way to get around this FFP red tape and inject funds. Who really knows, really and truly? I mean, where's Zubamendi's concerned? Quality player, bring him to the club. Between Ivan Toney, Vlahovic, Osimhen, whatever have you, bring one of them to the club in the summer if you can't do it now, even though on the striker. On the topic of striker, if we could get Callum Wilson on loan, I'm not moved by it, but we could do a lot worse. And it's been a bit of a dry transfer window, not just where Arsenal are concerned, but several clubs. But as we know, January is a reactive window. It seems like FFP is an issue of other clubs. I'm sure throughout the course of this video, you would have seen things popping up in the left and the right, people. Make sure you check out the end screens and check out the rest of the content. Leave me a comment on everything we've discussed here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, have a great day, and we link up again soon. Peace.
I think it's like